So in this video, I wanted to spend a few minutes talking about this pen. It's the Zebra Kado Squared. A lot of times you'll see this one listed as the Kado2, just because the the superscript 2 doesn't really come across in all settings. So it's technically the Kado Squared. Anyway, this is a ballpoint pen, retractable design, all metal body. Sells for about maybe $7 to $8. And it's pretty easy to find in the US. You could get it on Amazon and a few other Japanese type pen sellers, but still it's not really one you see that often. I've had one for probably over a year at this point, and I just kind of never got around to doing a video about it, but I've been using it a fair bit lately. And I sort of remembered to start using this pen as I did the construction pen or tool pen series a couple of weeks ago, and I've been using this one on and off since then. So anyway, figured it'd be a good chance to do a video about it. So this is a hexagonal metal pen with 2 rulers on it. Does not have any tools, so it's not a tool pen. It just happens to be a pen with these 2 rulers printed on. You have your inch ruler here, so it's 3 inches with 1/8 of an inch markings there. Actually, it looks like 1/16 of an inch markings there, and then 9 centimeters. So, pretty nice ruler set. And you just put this here or here or here, whatever, and you have a ruler, 2 rulers. So that's, I guess, somewhat useful sometimes. You have a pen, it's a straight edge. It's nice to have a ruler on it. I think that's really all there is to it. Even if you use it only once in a while, it's more useful than having nothing printed there, and I think it looks kind of cool. I bought it in this sort of like pencil yellow. It's kind of a marigold type yellow, maybe in a golden color, and it's sold in a bunch of other really pretty cool colors. I know there's a red and a green and some other ones that I don't have, but I think the colors are quite nice. The barrel is all metal. It's on the thick side, has a nice weight to it. The pen's about, I think, 18.5, 19 grams, right around there. So has a little bit of weight. Metal clip. Actually, it's one of those kind of sharp, pointy clips. I really don't love the clip. It's too tight. It's sharp. It kind of hurts your fingers when you use it. But it is strong, so I guess it has that going for it, but not a good clip, in my opinion. It has a pretty nice retractable action. Nice, clean feel to it. I have no problems with this. This piece comes off. I'm not entirely sure why. There's nothing you could do with it, but you can take this top button off. I usually just play with it as I'm supposed to be on a conference call or something like that, but it's not really a feature. It's just kind of how the pen is constructed. As far as the model information goes, we can see it's clearly a Japanese model. Has a 0.7 millimeter ballpoint ink refill, which we'll get into in a minute. It uses the EQ 0.7. So the EQ refill is one of the more popular Zebra emulsion refills. So you could replace it quite easily. You could also move over to the EQ 0.5 or the EQ 1.0. And I really love that EQ 1.0. It's one of the smoothest writing ballpoint pens out there. So highly recommend that one. Although this 0.7 I have no real problems with. And the price we see in Japan would be 500 Japanese yen. That typically comes out to about a $7 pen or so in the US. And again, that you can find them for about $7. Front piece here, you see an extended cone. It's nice and long. Kind of looks like a Lamy. They tend to do long tapered front ends, but clearly it's not a Lamy, it's a Zebra. This piece is all metal, comes off, has a nice weight to it. You can see spring in there. It looks to be painted brass, as indicated by the gold there. And here is the refill. This is a very standard EQ 0.5 millimeter or 0.7 millimeter refill. You can see I've taken a pretty good chunk out of this one. I've used about a third of it. It's a ballpoint ink, so it's the low viscosity, so very smooth ballpoint ink. That's the Zebra emulsion, and the EQ is that line. It has this little shoulder piece here, which makes it pretty useful as far as other pen types go, but not, it's kind of like a jet stream where it fits in more stuff than you expect, but not in everything. Anyway, the Zebra EQ is relatively easy to find, and it's a pretty affordable refill, maybe like $2.30, $2.50 for another one, which I really like. And again, the EQ 1.0 is one of my favorites. And this refill it will fit in the Zebra blend and some other pens. So if you have some Zebras in your collection, you should be able to get a refill for this pen fairly easily. Again, retractable, nice click, clean design, nice weight to it. I find it to be pretty comfortable. This long tapered front is maybe not for everyone, but it's still I still feel like I'm holding it in the right spot, and you have a nice wide hexagonal metal barrel, which kind of gives me kind of a Rotring type feel to it. But obviously there's no separate grip area, which a Rotring would tend to have. You are holding somewhere on that hex. You could see that even though the rulers are painted on, and I've been using this pen for some months now, probably over a year, the ruler has held up fairly well. The millimeter side, the millimeter side has no problems. The inch side, we're starting to see if we could get that. Definitely some signs of wear there where the paint is coming off. And that's just from me holding it and using it, throwing it in a bag, whatever. So that's the downside of this paint on a ruler. It saves a lot on cost, but sooner or later those ruler markings or those ticks or whatever are going to come off. So let's get going with this refill. So this is the Kado squared. I don't think that name means anything. Kado. I think it just sounds cool. Relatively smooth refill. It is the 0.7. If you wanted maximum smoothness, you would upgrade to that 1.0. It's a good refill in 0.7. It's a good refill in 0.5 as well. It's sold in blue and black, although I think the Kado pen might only be sold in black ink. But again, good writing performance. It writes on pretty much anything. It is a ballpoint refill, so it lasts practically forever. It's ready to go whenever you want and writes on almost all surfaces. I really do have no problems with the Zebra emulsion ink. It's not, for me, at the level of a Jetstream, but it's quite close. Zebra has other lines, like this is the Ferrari, which is another one of their ballpoint lines. But if you look inside this Ferrari pen, what do we find? This is man, it's a little bit hard to see, but this is the EQ 1.0. So now we have this pen, which is, again, one of my favorite sub $3 pens. I'm probably going to do a video about this in the coming days. Let's pull that refill out. Put in the EQ 1.0 from a much more affordable pen. Again, like much more affordable, like as in 1/3 the price, not like the $5 or $4 is going to, really break the bank, but relatively much more affordable. And now we could see, this is much more my speed, a 1.0 millimeter ballpoint in blue versus the 0.7 millimeter in black. Now you see a much thicker line, much smoother, very smooth. And now we're getting into, at least in my definition, just a world-class type ink. But again, this pen is a good starting point. I really love it once you're getting into that ink refill. So I think that pretty much covers it with the Kado squared. It's a nice everyday pen, has a sort of kind of tool-ish vibe to it where you have your rulers, but nothing else. There's no screwdriver in this. There's no hex socket. There's no bubble level, nothing like that. You just have the rulers and then a nice metal pen. Still, I wouldn't let that deter you from buying it. It's nicely built. I think it looks very cool. It comes in a bunch of easy to find colors, as in, like, if you drop this on the ground, you're not going to be able to miss the bright yellow or the bright red or bright green and other colors. And I think that's sort of the goal with it. So yeah, cool, underappreciated, and pretty affordable and pretty easy to find pen from Zebra with a great refill that you could upgrade quite easily. So I think that pretty much covers it. Thanks for watching.